Yeah, and I think maybe the evidence of them taking that step is, this upcoming game against Tennessee. I don't know. I feel fairly comfortable saying that they're going to win this game comfortably. I know that's not a total shock because Tennessee is very bad. They're obviously in the midst of a coaching change, but I do think it is a moderate step forward that, a week ago we were saying, are they going to be able to come off the high of beating a
Hmm.
division rival
Yeah.
to beat a lowly team in the Saints and going into a game against another bad team, granted with a lot different kind of like storylines. The feeling is fairly confident in that, like, if they did lose to Tennessee, it would be a shocker of all shockers. I think that they're at least capable of taking care of business nowadays.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that kind of just goes back to like, I mean, that Bills game was the first of three road games that they played for, a young team and against at that point was considered the best team in the league, and for them to kind of go 2-2 into this game, I would be like you said, Ben, I'd be very surprised if they weren't able to beat Tennessee. I think like I will say seeing the Patriots as like a 7-point favorite though on the road is uh, I don't know, should that be like surprising still at the same time? At least that's what I think I saw it earlier in the week. Um, because they're not that far removed from the team that they were. So I don't know. I saw 7 when it was like, is that a sign of how people are really viewing them around the league at this point? But yeah, with the Tennessee game, and Vrabel, he's certainly downplayed his return, but I just can't help but think that there is the type of guy he is, the type of guy, we heard Stefon Diggs before the Bills game, like there's a real thing to, players returning in their revenge games and redemption games and all that stuff. And I think a lot of the locker room is going to know that and, want to really serve it up to him.
It's the first time since the end of the 2021 season that they've been
Hmm.
favorites of a touchdown or more since on the road. So, and like last week was like the first time they were a road favorite in
Hmm.
roughly the same amount of time. So, unprecedented. Yeah, I think the Vrabel thing was what I was going to hit on. I think looking at it even more, I said last week that I thought it was a borderline trap game for them going to New Orleans, and I think it largely uh, played out that way. I don't want to pat myself on the back for not getting the prediction right necessarily because they didn't, the Saints didn't cover. They obviously didn't win, but like it was not an impressive Patriots performance, at least compared to the week before. And like looking at it now in hindsight too, that was the ultimate trap game where, yeah, three straight road games coming off of a division win. That in prime time, and then knowing that the trip to Nashville
Yeah.
was lingering and looming the week after as well, it was like the clearest look ahead spot. And they largely took care of business. So, at this point too, like they're in the position where like just win games.
Yeah.
And it's you sustain momentum. It doesn't matter how you do it. Like, nobody expected you to do much anyway, so it's all gravy. I think they absolutely blow doors this week. I
Yeah.
think this is like we're doing the whole like Vrabel thing after the game where to a man, they all say we really wanted to go down and make an impact. I don't think I don't know a ton about Mike McCoy. He doesn't feel like the sort of coach that's going to come in after a guy gets fired and gives you the bump that you tend to see with the guy gets fired and the interim comes in and they play well for him the first week. I just there's nothing to really get excited about with this Titans team. I mean, they have a negative 78 point differential, which is pretty hard to do through 6 weeks. Um, they like
It's
yeah, the most impressive that they've really looked in recent memory. I don't even remember who they beat. But like I caught a good deal of that their game in Arizona last week, and it's just like it was
Didn't they have a
they just
comeback
never
win? Was it
felt
against
like
the
it never even felt
Dolphins?
like they were close to covering, let alone winning the game. It just
Didn't they beat the Dolphins?
yes, I think you're
Comeback
right.
win? Yeah.
Which is again, you know,
Talk about a dumpster fire.
every every Patriots win gets less impressive week after week. Like even the Bills losing to the Falcons on Monday night, it's just like, well, I guess, the good news is like you're tied for first place. The bad news is your signature win doesn't look nearly as impressive anymore.
Yeah. So I actually I kind of believe Vrabel when he's downplaying it. It was kind of like a ways ago now. If we're talking about a career wise, I mean it's almost like it was a different world, and that a lot of things have changed for him. But every week, every game, there's like somebody who's going into like a Stephon Diggs against the Bills, and it
Yeah.
might be very. I remember once, I can't remember which game it was, but like the Celtics won, and KG said like it was good to get this win for so and so, and I was like, what? And then like I went
Jay
back and it was
Crowder.
like it was like the 10th guy on the bench who like played for like Atlanta for 6 games like 3 years ago. I was like, so like there's always something, and especially like for the Patriots right now, like it's more than just Vrabel. Like it's almost the
Yeah.
entire like coaching staff, even a few players. So I think it's like even without Vrabel playing it up, there are so many people who are going into, and everybody knows, Landry and whoever played here in the past, and so yeah, I mean I do think I do think there is that element of it. I also though wouldn't be surprised if they don't blow doors, so to speak, Mike, because I also think that in maybe Vrabel's personality is, I think he'd be just as happy, they get up 14-0 and then they just kind of like make this the game where they figure out how to run the ball. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah.
And just kind of like I don't need to beat you 38-12. I just need to beat you by like a couple scores and get out of town and show that I kind of won this without spiking it the football figuratively.
I can't explain why I think this way though, but like he does feel like the type of coach who would be upfront with his team that it means more to him. Like he would never say it publicly, but you know what I mean? I think there are some guys who
Yeah.
Belichick would never, right? And we get that, but like I do think if Vrabel feels that way, I don't think he'd be afraid to share it with his team. And if that is the case, then I don't expect them to use this as a quasi scrimmage. I think they try to run it up, but that's just me trying to read between lines. I'm not entirely sure, so it's they and like I do think I guess the bigger picture point is like a win's a win again. Like that, it's more about stacking wins now than it is necessarily getting revenge. But if like they smell blood in the water, I think it could get really ugly.
Got anything to add,
Score
Sean?
predictions.
Score? I don't know. Do you have a score prediction?
Taken by 14.
14. Wow.
I would say like 24-7, 28-10, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think I haven't placed my bet yet. I think I'm going to take the points. I just think going back to what you were saying to begin with, Mike, to kind of be in the middle. I think I think if I had to make a prediction, it would be that the Patriots now, I think they're in line for a first round bye in the playoffs and 0 playoff wins. Because so like if that's kind of like on the fence of how optimistic I am about them the rest of the way with the regular season versus once they play like a real team, I don't think they're going to fare pretty well. So you're right. The dynasty is not back on, but I think it's only going to get worse when they're running their way through this crap schedule.
Yeah.
And
7-2.
also we're getting ready for a divisional game that that they lose by
They're
2.5 touchdowns.
they're technically fourth in the conference right now, but like the Chiefs are out. If it started to like what whatever. Yeah, I don't know though. Like the 3 teams ahead of them, technically in the standings right now, are the Colts, Steelers, and Chargers. Like, do any of those scare you? Which is why like I like again, we don't need to litigate January right now, but like I have no idea what would happen in that situation. You know what I mean? Like they could win, they could lose. Like that would be a true coin flip against any one of those teams because like I would have no idea how good any one of those teams are. If they won, if they get to the conference championship, I the conference is so all over the place that it wouldn't totally surprise me.
Yeah.
Like it's just, which is why again we're gonna look up at Christmas and be like, I have no idea what to make of this team because they just beat the Falcons or whatever.
what a good year for them though, to like in terms of like learning how to win and everything like that. Like you have an absolute shit schedule. Obviously, you have the new coach, but you have a shit schedule. You have Mahomes and the Chiefs, not looking like
Wow.
typical. You have, well, at least through the first 4 or 5 weeks.
I think the Chiefs are back, low key, but that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah,
But then Burrow's out, then Lamar's out. Like there are a lot of things. I mean, Daniel Jones right now, you just said the Colts are in first place. Like Daniel Jones is in first place. Like they're I think it's realistic that they're, certainly 6-3, maybe like even like, I don't know, 8 or 10-2, like something like that. Like I think that could happen. And I just think all things lined up and maybe they backtrack next year. But like in terms of like learning how to win in that sort of season, I feel like a lot of things are kind of coming together for them.